Hello once again, another video here. It's Friday and I have a bit of time before going to work to do this video. I had this one thinking in my head for a few weeks, and I finally finished my Led Zeppelin discography on my vinyl records, and spent some time listening to all of these records to get a better sense of the depth of the Zeppelin discography. And I thought I'd do this video. I like my my list videos, and this is an album ranking video. And look, it's just for fun. Zeppelin, one of the greatest rock and roll bands ever created, and certainly to me, as a hard rock lover, hard rock fan, Zeppelin are definitely the kings. They started kind of, the first real hard rock band. I always cringe when I hear people call Zeppelin, whenever I've heard them mentioned as in metal categories. That's not true, obviously. Zeppelin are a hard rock band, and they're the kings of that genre. They kind of started it, in my view, or at the very crest of it. So here's my little take on it, just quick, before I do my my album ranking review here. As a guy that's about to turn 60, I was born in 66. When Zeppelin were big in the mid 70s, I was still a boy. I was, 10 at 76. 1976, I was 10 years old. So Zeppelin weren't my first love, that's for sure. I mean, when I was a young teenager getting into my music taste, I spent all my money on AC/DC and Van Halen, Ozzy, that type of stuff. And then I kind of got into my metal years with Priest and Maiden. So it's not that Zeppelin wasn't on my radar. It's just that they were just that much a little ahead before my time. But as a music lover, and as a someone that's aware of rock, obviously gotten into Zeppelin a lot over the years as an older person, adult, and appreciate them for everything that they are. So I wanted to do this album ranking. Look, it's one of the greatest rock bands of all history. So this is just personal taste. I'm very curious this video to hear from somebody out there. I hope I get some comments, because Zeppelin will definitely generate opinion. They've got, I would say, the first 4 albums or so that Zeppelin made were true, slam dunk classic records. But they've got a bunch of, a series of records, 5, I would say, that would, maybe even 6, that would be commented on by people that know music and are into music as their personal favorite. So let's go through the list. I'll give you mine, and then maybe you guys can, if you care to, make a comment and let me know what you think. I mean, remember, this is my taste and my picks, so I have my reasons. But go ahead and make comments if you want to, and tell me what you think, because I know for a fact that there's at least one segment here with where things rank that is controversial based on all the videos I've watched with people commenting and noting their favorite Zeppelin album. So here we go. Zeppelin made 9 studio records, and so at number 9 is Coda. Okay, Coda is at number 9. Way I did it is I listened to the records and I picked songs out that were 10 out of 10 songs, and this record to me has no 10 out of 10 songs. It's still a cool record. It's short, but it's a cool record. And the standout track to me is "I Can't Quit You, Baby," and Coda lands at number 9. For me, I don't think that's any big stretch. I'm sure most people would choose the same. At number 8 is a recent album that I added to my collection, Presence, and that's number 8 to me. The 8 landing spot belongs to Presence. To me, it has one 10 out of 10 song, and it's the standout track to me, Nobody's Fault But Mine, and that is number 8 in my Zeppelin album ranking. At number 7 is Led Zeppelin 3. That's my number 7 pick. Very cool record. And that sits at number 7 for me. And the standout track to me is Immigrant Song. And yeah, I picked 2 tracks on this as 10 out of 10 songs. But yeah, that lands at number 7 for me. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. Yeah, you're gonna get some, I'm gonna get some blowback perhaps, but that's okay, man. It's just my choice. So landing at number 6 to me is Physical Graffiti. A very cool record, big double record of theirs. Standout track is Cashmere. I picked 3 10 out of 10 songs on this record, and it sits at number 6 for me. I certainly appreciate it. It's an amazing record. It's got a lot of stuff on here. Yeah, so that's my pick at number 6. So here's where you get interesting. My number 5 pick is In Through the Outdoor. And I've always loved this record. You know, I just think it's a great record. And in fact, it has 3 10 out of 10 songs on this record for me. It's much shorter, of course, than the preceding record. But it's got 3 of my favorite Zeppelin tracks on this record. That's why it would land at number 5. Fool in the Rain is the standout track for me, and I put it at number 5. At number 4 is the debut. I mean, what a record. Holy man, for a debut record. And I've got 4 10 out of 10 songs that I think on here, and to me, the standout track is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. And to me, that's their standout track on this record, but come on, it's got, you know, communication breakdown on here. Wow. So anyway, that's my number 4 pick, the Led Zeppelin debut. Okay, top 3. Holy man, these top 3 records are, yeah, wow. So number 2, Led Zeppelin 2 is at number 3 for me. That's my 3rd album choice. Led Zeppelin 2. Standout track to me is Ramble On, of course. And I picked 10 out of 10 songs on this record. That's how good this record is. So Zeppelin 2 is my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick is Zeppelin 4. That's my number 2 pick. You know, wow, what a cool record. Everything about it. You know, to me, 7 10 out of 10 songs on this record. 7 songs that are 10 out of 10 on one record. And to me, the standout track is one of the, if not the greatest rock song ever made, in my view. Stairway to Heaven is still the standout track to me on this record. And that is my 2nd favorite, or my number 2 Zeppelin album, Led Zeppelin 4. My number 1 album. And, you know, I gotta say, as I mentioned, when I was younger, Zeppelin weren't my top band because I was into other bands, but always to me, my favorite sounding Zeppelin record was Houses of the Holy. And, you know, this record to me has another 7 10 out of 10 tracks. 7. And I'm happy to say, as I've gotten older and more into the music, and I was delving into this and checking it out more and really focusing on these records, I'm happy to say that this record remains the number 1 record for me. And, you know, I'm happy, you know, I was willing to to surprise myself and to pick something else. I mean, come on. Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin 4, Led Zeppelin 2, even the debut could easily be number 1. But for me, it's this record. I've always loved the sound of it. To me, the standout track on this record is the Rain song. And yeah, so that's my Zeppelin album ranking video. And I'm going to do another ranking video coming up. I like doing these. I have to say, you know, it's just my music taste from my little corner of my rock and roll music world. But I have listened to a lot of rock music over the years, continue to do so. And it's been a lot of fun gathering. I like getting the discographies. I'm not really a completist necessarily, but it's cool to have bands' discographies, whether it's on vinyl or in my CD format. I still enjoy collecting those physical formats and listening. The Zeppelin records are very cool to have, you know, like all these records, the artwork is very unique, you know. In some cases, the albums are simple, you know, the artwork to them, but you know, I think that Zeppelin did a very cool job of creating this, you know, just ultra cool look to them. And so what I will say, listening to all this Zeppelin music, they certainly, what's cool about them, they were a band. So that's what was neat about, you know, the best bands like Zeppelin is they captured a sound that was magic for a while. You know, and obviously when they lost one of the key members, they chose to end it. And I think in the annals of the history of rock music, that is one of the greatest, it's certainly not the most wonderful choice they had to make, obviously, but it was such a classic move, and that just solidified their greatness because they didn't stumble on. The magic was them as a group. You know, listening to the music, they were equal parts of all four of these people. You know, Robert Plant's voice, to me, is essential to Zeppelin, obviously, but not the only element. It was the mix of them together. So that's what made Zeppelin great. And, you know, they've obviously created such a template for other bands to try to reach. I'm not sure that too many have, you know, got there. Whether you talk about modern bands like Smashing Pumpkins and, you know, now Greta Van Fleet and other bands that are trying to emulate this sound, and many do a very good job, and many get close, but they aren't Zeppelin. And yeah, you know, it's cool that three of these four members are still involved in the music scene to a certain extent. I mean, Robert Plant is truly involved. He's still very much involved and recreate himself. John Paul Jones is a very, very revered musician in rock circles, and Jimmy Page is just like a god walking around on earth still, you know. Wow. So Zeppelin, what a cool band. What a cool band. And leave a comment if you have an opinion about my choices and my list. And it was a lot of fun putting together. It was not really all that hard to do necessarily. Had to make a hard choice, you know, in through the outdoor ahead of Physical Graffiti is a bit controversial, I know, but I've always liked that record, and three of my fave Zeppelin tracks are on that. So like and subscribe if you dig it, and I hope to get some more people watching my videos. I'm going to keep doing them. I have fun doing it. So take care, guys. All the best, and I'll see you again real soon, okay? Bye-bye.